Take a look.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community posts. You already know the vibes. And I've been away for a little bit, man, not too long, but I just haven't really been feeling like, create any type of content. These things happen from time to time, but I'm back at you with another one. I'm actually in a really good mood. One, my New York Knicks won, so that's always a good thing. And two, even though on paper the card for Dynamite tonight kind of looked like, a whole lot of nothing, it actually turned out to be a really fun show, more enjoyable. And I gotta kind of, give AEW credit where credit is due. A lot of times when those nothing cards come out, when you get the big graphic for the show and you see what's on the show, and it's one of those shows that looks like it's gonna be kind of lame, and it always turns out to be way better than you expect it to. So I'll give you props, AEW, man. You did the damn thing. What a good show. And it's Wednesday, so you already know what that means. We're kind of going back to formula and starting off the show with an Orange Cassidy match. And this match was Orange Cassidy versus Trent. Now, low key, man, I felt like this could have been saved for Double or Nothing. Like, this could have been a pay-per-view match. And given the way that the match ended, that still could be a possibility. And the way this match started off with a straight up fight, no wrist locks, no collar and elbow tie-ups. They were just throwing hands like they were playing for the Edmonton Oilers and whatnot. They were fighting, they were squabbling. The match was going all over the place. It was all throughout the arena. And it looked like Trent was gonna, use shenanigans and cheat. He ripped off the turnbuckle pad and the referee caught him. And as the referee is talking to Trent, Orange Cassidy turns around and does the same thing for the other side of the ring. He rips off his turnbuckle post or turnbuckle pad, and the referee and Trent didn't see it. Trent goes head first into the turnbuckle, gets hit with the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up 1, 2, 3. And you think it's going to end, with Orange Cassidy celebrating and Trent looking all conflicted and mad and everything. But it doesn't, because Trent continues to attack Orange Cassidy, beats him up after the match. He hits him with a pile driver on the top of the steel steps. The only thing that really bothered me was the fact that Trent did indeed hit Orange Cassidy with a pile driver on top of the steel steps. And about 2 minutes later, Orange Cassidy's up like nothing really happened. I'm like, you kidding me? That kind of took me out of this moment just a little bit. And on top of all that, you don't really know where this whole thing with Don Callis and Orange Cassidy is going. I thought Don Callis would be leaning more towards Trent, but that wasn't the case. He's rocking with Orange Cassidy. So is Don Callis trying to get him into the Don Callis family? I don't know how that's going to work if that is indeed the case, but we just gotta wait and see. So after this, we have a segment from Serena Deeb and Timeless Tony Storm. This was kind of, I don't want to say lame because that's rude, but it was kind of lame. It was kind of weak. Serena Deeb was talking about how last year she was dealing with seizures and everything, and now she's fighting to, turn the women's division around and become women's champion and blah, blah, blah. And then Timeless Tony Storm comes out, and she pretty much says, I don't give a shit about your seizures or you. And then Serena Deeb knocks her out. So that was pretty much that. And Luther carried Tony Storm out. And then after this, we had a match between Mariah May and Harley Cameron. And I'll give Harley Cameron credit. She's got a lot of personality. She's beautiful. In ring, she's okay. You can see a lot of potential there. Mariah May, she just beats the hell out of you. She looks like she's, like a diva, but she can just beat you like you owe her money. And to the surprise of nobody, Mariah May won. And then after the match, you have Saraya and Harley Cameron beating up Mariah May. And then Mina Shirakawa comes out and makes the save. And then it looks like her and Mariah May are gonna kiss, and she says, "Psych, you thought." She swerves her, and they drink champagne and dance and dance and party and dance and party and dance. So yeah. So after this, we had a backstage segment. We have Pac, he's talking to the interviewing lady, and she's asking her about the return of Rey Fenix and, possibly getting Death Triangle back together. And before Pac can really answer, the Bullet Club Gold pulls up, the Bang Bang Gang, my bad. They pull up, and Jay White's doing his typical thing where he says he's the catalyst of pro wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And he pretty much, calls Pac a bitch without really saying it. And Pac just has this look on his face like, I got your bitch right here. So then later you have a match between Jay White and Rocky Romero. And even before this match took place, Rocky Romero was talking to Orange Cassidy and said he talked to Tony Khan, who's doing all this from remotely. He's doing it from Jacksonville and whatnot. But he says to Orange Cassidy that if Rocky Romero can win this match, then that'll put him in line for a title shot for the Bang Bang Gang's trios 6-man tag team championships. And he said, we just got to find a partner. We can even get Trent back in the mix. And Orange Cassidy is like, nigga, you crazy? He didn't say that because it's Orange Cassidy, but he just had this look on his face like, are you freaking kidding me? So Rocky Romero lost. That's not really what you want to talk about. What you do want to talk about is what happened after the match. You had the Bullet Club Gold celebrating. They're holding up their titles, they're doing this and whatnot. And they're beating up Rocky Romero. And then Pac comes out to make the save. So most likely what's going to happen at Double or Nothing, we're going to have the Bang Bang Gang taking on Death Triangle. And I can't even lie to you, that would be a pretty fire match if it is happening. So Willow talks about her upcoming match with Mercedes Moné, and she says, she did feel bad for, Mercedes Moné's injury, but that was, the jumping off point for her amazing year that she had last year with her becoming the New Japan Women's Openweight Champion or whatever it was called. And then, she won the Owen Hart Memorial Cup thingamabobber, and eventually became the TBS champion. So she's just doing her thing, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to beat Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné's response is, yeah, you beat me, but I was injured. So there's a big asterisk by your title shot. And at Double or Nothing is going to be Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. And I will say that they were both looking very, very beautiful, super fit femme. Looking good as always, my God. The Learning Tree had a match, that being Chris Jericho and Large William, or aka Big Bill. They wrestled two jabronis. I don't know what their names were, but Big Bill did all the work, and Chris Jericho came through and got the pin, 1, 2, 3. And then after the match, Chris Jericho, he was hamming it up. He was being lame. He was being Man, it's working, bro. It's working. Like, I'm coming around to this whole Learning Tree gimmick because he's being very insincere. He even did the Tony Khan thanks guys line. And he's just being very fake and very superficial. And, he's thanking the crowd. He even accidentally said, even we're here in Calgary, but they're in Edmonton. So, there's that. And then Tony Schiavone got in the ring and said next week Hook is going to make his return, as well as Taz. So, yeah, that should be pretty cool. I am starting to come around to this whole Learning Tree gimmick, even though I don't really care for Chris Jericho. But Chris Jericho, once again, reinvented himself. He gave himself a new gimmick instead of, falling back on, the Painmaker or the Ocho or Le Champion. He's doing something different, so he gets props for that. He gets 3 points for Hufflepuff. So, good for you, Chris Jericho. So, earlier in the show, at the beginning of the night, Edge, he came out and he said that his match against Brody King for the TNT Championship will now be a no disqualification match. And then before the match, you had Malachi Black saying, his evil plan to, get Edge to kind of, not so much be the happy-go-lucky fun dad, but, be who Edge really is. And that's the sick, evil, rated R superstar that we all know and love, that we miss so very much. And, it looks like the plan is working. And as far as the match between, I know I keep calling him Edge, it's Adam Copeland, but he's always going to be Edge to me. The match he had with Brody King, it was a lot of fun. There was tables and blood, and Adam Copeland did that table, that spot where he puts the chair piece in your mouth, he gives you the crossface. So, it was an overall fun match. Brody King was an absolute bloody mess, and Adam Copeland won with a spear. He even did a spear through the table, even though the table wasn't on fire. That was a pretty cool spot. Adam Copeland ended up getting the win. And then, after the match, Brody King was getting the beat down on Edge. But Kyle O'Reilly came out to make the save. And you think you think Kyle O'Reilly is doing it out of the kindness of his heart. But he was like, nah, I kind of wanted the TNT Championship match. So this Saturday on Collision, it will indeed be Adam Copeland taking on Kyle O'Reilly for the TNT Championship in another Cope Open. So, that should be a pretty fine match. Samoa Joe had a video package. He's being mean and scary, the good old Samoa Joe that we know and love, our former AEW champion. And speaking of AEW champions, it's time for whose house? Swerve's house. He makes his way out to the ring. No Prince Nana. Prince Nana got beat up by Nick Wayne last week, so it makes sense why he wasn't out this week. And Swerve says, he's in a bad mood. He's angry. He's upset. He's ready for a fight, and he's calling out Christian Cage. He says he's gonna beat him up like Kendrick did Drake. And there was another thing he said that, it's not the first time someone from the West Coast is gonna beat up a fake ass father from Toronto. Another shot at Drake, great beef. Kendrick is winning. We're waiting for you, Drake. No, we're waiting for Kendrick to respond, so, be on the lookout for that. But of course, this leads Christian Cage to come out. And, he's talking his junk, he's talking his noise, he's talking his trash. And he says that the reason he took out one of Swerve's locks last week is because he wants to take something away from Swerve every week until he ultimately gets to that championship match at Double or Nothing where he does take his championship. And Swerve is like, man, you silly Canadian. I told you last week I'm not coming out alone. And then he brings out the Mogul Embassy. And last week, I was wondering why they didn't show up, to help out Swerve. And that was kind of revealed because the Mogul Embassy ended up attacking Swerve. And, commentary put over the fact that, maybe they're tired of being left in the dust, they've been tired of being an afterthought for Swerve, which kind of makes sense. So they put the beat down on Swerve. They ended up putting him through the announce table, and Christian is looking like an evil menace with his turtleneck and his jacket and his scuffed up boots, as Swerve said. And then you cut to backstage where the Elite are watching on, and Christian says, this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful relationship. So it looks like Christian Cage, his family, are in cahoots with the Elite, the Elite. And now, going on to our main event segment, speaking of the Elite, they pulled up to Dynamite. They're parking at Tony Khan's spot. They're doing video packages saying how they're going to change the world. They keep saying they're going to change the world and blah, blah, blah. And then, before anything else could happen, Kenny Omega speaks to us live from a local medical facility. He's in a hospital. He got on the phone with Tony Khan and said, listen, we need to have Team AEW versus the Elite in an Anarchy in the Arena match. And the first two people that that Kenny and Tony Khan picked was FTR. And they said that the final two participants will reveal themselves at the end of the show. And a lot of people were speculating that it would be Motor City Machine Guns because, according to the internet, it said that, they're signed with AEW, so, we're just waiting for them to pull up. And to my surprise, and to the surprise of everybody watching, it wasn't the Motor City Machine Guns. It was Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. So, Team AEW makes their way out to the ring. They beat up the Elite. They're all fighting their shenanigans and tomfoolery and fisticuffs. And that's pretty much how this episode of Dynamite ends. And like I said, man, it ended up being a whole lot of fun. There was parts of the show where I kind of tuned out, the Harley Cameron and Mariah May match. Respectfully, I wasn't really paying attention. I was watching the Knicks game at the time. So, from what I saw, it was pretty solid. It was okay, but my focus was on my New York Knicks. But with that being said, guys, what did you think of this week's episode of Dynamite? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Bees. I'm out. Peace.